who alleged various kinds of sexual misconduct against Swalwell. Trace?
Christina, thank you. Let's bring in Steamboat Institute Blankley Fellow Amber Duke and Daily Signal national correspondent Tony Kinnett. Thank you both for coming on. Tony, to you first. I mean, Eric Swalwell is in deep, deep trouble right now. And you can say that in California because the California Teachers Union wrote the following here on X. The allegations are incredibly disturbing and unacceptable against Rep. Swalwell. We are immediately suspending our support. Our elected board will be meeting as soon as possible to follow our union's democratic process to determine the next step. You lose the teachers union, you lose a lot of money. Plus, Act Blue page is not accepting money right now. Nancy Pelosi says it's time to get out. And some prominent Democrats in the state have already said, no, thank you. We're out as well. What's your take, Tony?
Obviously, it's a horrible situation for his campaign, but you have to remember he's still a member of the House of Representatives right now. When you have House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who is calling on him to step down from the race, Representative Eric Swalwell is still in his caucus. He's still going to meetings to vote with the House of Representative Democrats. So to see this kind of half-handed scorn over his campaign, obviously with Katie Porter on the other side, that's another ball of wax that's not going to make things easier for Democrats through that whole jungle primary system. Over in the House of Representatives, Hakeem Jeffries is already reeling from a number of scandals. The representative who took directions from Jeffrey Epstein, the fraud case. There's numerous situations, not to mention LaMonica McIver's body slam in New Jersey.
Yeah, it is. You're exactly right. Meantime, I want to kind of quickly get back, if I can, to General Jack Keane, because he's talking about, Iran, the whole deal, the politics behind this. And he said the following, Amber, and I'll get your take on this.
The longer there is lower oil prices, the lower there's less economic pain, the longer there's less political pressure, it makes it that much tougher in their minds for the administration to go back and finish the job militarily. That, I believe, is really their strategy.
I mean, Iran has very little political leverage, has very little leverage overall, Amber.
Yeah, I think the problem here for the president is that although MAGA Republicans are broadly supportive of this war, he built a winning coalition in 2024 by bringing in independents, right? And so when you look ahead to the midterms, the question is, how do you get those low to mid-prop voters and the independents to stick around with the president's agenda and vote for Republicans this time around? And the Iran 10-point plan for the president is sticky too, because these are things that probably would have been unthinkable a few weeks ago. But as the president is trying to think about an off-ramp for this conflict and how to get America out of this without wrecking the economy as you head into the midterms, things like Iran having continued control over the Strait of Hormuz or guarantees that the U.S. and Israel will never strike Iran again, those are going to be things that the president is going to have to think seriously about that otherwise would have been considered non-starters.
Meantime, you have Democrats that keep threatening to invoke the 25th Amendment over Trump's response to Iran, and now Trump is taking a swing back. He said this, Tony, watch.
What is your response to critics who say that it is your mental health that should perhaps be examined as this war continues?
I haven't heard that. But if that's the case, you're going to have more people like me, because our country was being ripped off on trade, on everything for many years until I came along. So if that's the case, you're going to have more people.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's very concerned about this whole 25th Amendment thing, Tony.
I don't think so. There's not a lot in his behavior or his acuity that shows some kind of a decline here in the way that, of course, we saw with former President Joe Biden. Even in the Obama administrations, we'd see these long pauses. Again, that's a very stressful position. If there's one thing we can say about the president of the United States, he's always quick on an answer. He has a remarkable memory for the level of this job, and I'm not seeing any reason for him or his staff to be concerned.
Yeah. We have news for you, Amber. Look who is running for president. Maybe running for president of the United States again. Watch.
So are you going to run again in 28?
So, okay,
I tried to be subtle, but I just figured I'd go right
well,
at it.
That's as subtle as Reverend Al Sharpton could ever be. We love you for many things, but not being subtle. Listen, I might. I'm thinking about it.
Every Republican just dropped to their knees and prayed and said, can you take Tim Walz with you and run again?
That's right. Republicans are salivating over this, especially after her weird mob boss impression of Donald Trump. It might have been the worst impression of Trump I've ever heard, which is a pretty high bar, actually. I think the GOP is so excited to hear that she's considering this, because the longer that she stays in politics, the more she puts her foot in her mouth and continues to show that she is not presidential material.
Oh, my goodness. Amber, Tony, thank you both.